First Contact and the Galactic Dilemma. The vastness of space had always called to Dr. Samira Patel. As a child, she'd gaze at the stars from her backyard in Mumbai, dreaming of the day she'd explore them. Now, standing on the bridge of the ESS Horizon, Earth's first faster-than-light vessel, she realized that dream had come true in ways she'd never imagined. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Zhang from his station, "we're picking up an anomalous signal. It's unlike anything we've ever seen." Captain Elena Rodriguez, a veteran of the Pan American Space Force, strode to Zhang's console. Her eyes widened as she studied the readouts. "Dr. Patel, your expertise is needed." Samara hurried over, her heart racing. The signal was indeed extraordinary, a complex, layered transmission that seemed to defy conventional physics. As she began to analyze the data, a realization struck her with the force of a supernova. "Captain," she whispered, her voice trembling with excitement and fear, "I believe this is a first contact scenario." The bridge fell silent, the weight of history pressing down on every soul present. Humanity had long wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now, on the fringes of the Oort cloud, barely out of their cosmic backyard, they had their answer. Captain Rodriguez took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "Open a channel, broadband. Let's say hello." For hours, the crew of the Horizon worked tirelessly to decipher the alien transmission and formulate a response. Samara's expertise in xenolinguistics proved invaluable as they pieced together a rudimentary form of communication. Just as exhaustion began to set in, the view screen flickered to life. The image that appeared was beyond anything they had imagined. A being of swirling energy and light, vaguely humanoid but clearly alien, regarded them with what seemed to be curiosity. "Greetings, children of Earth," the translator rendered its melodious tones. "I am Zorax, emissary of the Galactic Council. Your emergence into the cosmic community is most timely, though I fear the circumstances are grave." Captain Rodriguez stepped forward, her voice steady despite the surreal situation. "I am Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth ship Horizon. We come in peace and with an open mind. What circumstances do you speak of?" Zorax's form shimmered, a ripple of what might have been concern passing through its ethereal body. "A crisis threatens not just our galaxy, but the very fabric of spacetime itself. We call it the Void Cascade, a phenomenon that devours entire star systems, growing stronger with each passing moment. Our most advanced civilizations have fought it for centuries, yet we find ourselves on the brink of defeat." Samara felt a chill run down her spine. Humanity had barely taken its first steps into interstellar space, and already they faced a threat of cosmic proportions. "But how can we help?" she found herself asking. "We're newcomers to your galactic community. Surely there are more advanced civilizations better equipped to handle this threat." Zorax's form pulsed with an emotion Samara couldn't quite interpret. "It is precisely your newness, your unique perspective, that we need. The oldest races of our galaxy have grown set in their ways, bound by eons of tradition and protocol. But you humans, you think differently. You innovate in ways we had long forgotten." Captain Rodriguez exchanged glances with her crew. The implications were staggering. "You're asking us to join a war against a cosmic force we know nothing about." "We ask you to join us in the salvation of all that exists," Zorax corrected. "We have observed your species from afar. Your resilience, your adaptability, your capacity for both destruction and creation. These qualities may be the key to our survival." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. The Horizon established a secure link with Earth, relaying the monumental news and the even more incredible request. World leaders debated furiously, scientists pored over the data shared by the Galactic Council, and the public reeled from the revelation that not only were they not alone in the universe, but they were being called upon to save it. Dr. Samara Patel found herself at the center of it all, working tirelessly to bridge the gap between human understanding and alien concepts. As she delved deeper into the information provided by the Council, she began to see patterns, weaknesses in the void cascade that others had overlooked. It's not just about firepower, she explained to a joint session of the United Nations, her hologram projected before the world's leaders. The void cascade operates on principles that defy our current understanding of physics. But that's our advantage. We're not bound by centuries of established scientific doctrine. We can think outside the box. As the debate raged on Earth, the crew of the Horizon was invited to witness the void cascade firsthand. Captain Rodriguez agreed, knowing that seeing the threat with their own eyes would be crucial for humanity's decision. The Horizon, guided by Zorax's ship, traversed distances that boggled the mind. They emerged in a system on the edge of the Andromeda Galaxy, and what they saw defied description. A writhing mass of darkness, shot through with veins of sickly purple energy, was literally eating away at the fabric of space. Stars winked out of existence as they watched, planets crumbled, and the laws of physics seemed to break down in its wake. "By all that's holy," whispered Lieutenant Zhang, his face pale. Captain Rodriguez stood silent, her mind racing. This was beyond anything humanity had ever faced. Yet, as she watched the Galactic Council's ships fighting a losing battle against the Cascade, she saw inefficiencies, missed opportunities, and a rigid adherence to tactics that clearly weren't working. She turned to Dr. Pertel, seeing the same realization in the scientist's eyes. "We can do this," Samara said quietly. "It won't be easy, and we'll need to push the boundaries of science and ethics, but we can find a way." Rodriguez nodded, then opened a channel to Earth. The face of the United Nations Secretary-General appeared on screen, concern etched in every line. "Madam Secretary," Rodriguez said, her voice filled with determination, "we've seen the threat. It's worse than we imagined, but not unbeatable. Humanity has spent its entire existence overcoming impossible odds. This is our chance to prove ourselves on a cosmic scale." She paused, looking around at her crew, seeing the same resolve in their eyes. "With your permission, we'd like to formally accept the Galactic Council's invitation. Earth is ready to join the fight." As the Secretary-General conferred with world leaders, Samara turned her attention back to the swirling chaos of the void cascade. In its chaotic patterns, she saw not just destruction, but possibility. Humanity was about to embark on its greatest challenge yet, armed with nothing but their wits, their courage, and their unbreakable spirit. The age of Earth's isolation was over. The galaxy was calling, and humanity would answer. Project Quantum Fold, humanity's secret weapon. The sprawling underground facility beneath the Atacama Desert hummed with activity. 6 months had passed since humanity's fateful decision to join the galactic war against the Void Cascade, and Earth had been transformed. Nations that were once bitter rivals now worked in unprecedented cooperation, pooling resources and knowledge in a desperate race against time. Dr. Samara Patel stood before a holographic display, her eyes darting between complex equations and simulations. Dark circles under her eyes betrayed countless sleepless nights, but there was a fire in her gaze that spoke of unwavering determination. "Dr. Petal," a voice called from behind her. She turned to see General Adebayo, the stern Nigerian woman who had been appointed to oversee Earth's military response to the cosmic threat. "I hope you have good news for me. The Galactic Council is growing impatient with our unorthodox methods." Samara allowed herself a small smile. "Unorthodox is putting it mildly, General. What we're attempting here goes against everything the Council believes about the nature of reality. But," she gestured to the hologram, "I think we've cracked it." The display shifted, showing a simulation of the Void Cascade's chaotic energy patterns. Beside it, a new pattern emerged, orderly, precise, yet with a complexity that boggled the mind. "We call it the quantum fold," Samara explained. "By manipulating subatomic particles in ways previously thought impossible, we can create a field that doesn't just resist the cascade, it rewrites the rules of physics in a localized area." General Adebayo's eyebrows rose. "You're saying we can fight this thing on its own terms?" Better, Samara replied, her excitement palpable. We can dictate the terms of engagement. The void cascade thrives on chaos and entropy. Our quantum fold imposes order, stability. In theory, we could not only stop the cascade, but potentially reverse its effects. The general's expression hardened. In theory, the Council's reports indicate they've lost 3 more systems since we joined the fight. We're running out of time for theories, Doctor. Samara nodded gravely. I understand. That's why we're ready to move to the next phase. We need to test the quantum fold in actual combat conditions. You had a ship in mind. Not just a ship, Samara said, pulling up a new hologram. A crew. The image showed 5 individuals, a diverse group representing the best Earth had to offer. Captain Elena Rodriguez, Samara began, pointing to a familiar face. Her experience with first contact and her tactical acumen make her the ideal leader for this mission. She moved on to the next image. Lieutenant Feng Zhang, our top pilot and navigation expert. His understanding of spatial dynamics will be crucial in maneuvering through cascade-affected areas. The third image showed a burly man with a shock of red hair. Dr. Connor O'Brien, quantum physicist. He'll be responsible for maintaining and adjusting the quantum fold in real time. Next was a young woman with cybernetic implants visible at her temples. Ariane Kosi, our AI and systems specialist. She'll interface directly with the ship's quantum computers, allowing for microsecond adjustments to the fold. Finally, Samira indicated the last image, a serene-looking individual with androgynous features, and Dax Moreau, our xenobiologist and diplomatic liaison. If we encounter any new life forms or need to communicate with Council species, they're our best bet. General Adebayo studied the profiles, her expression unreadable. An impressive team, Doctor. But can they handle the psychological stress of what you're proposing? This mission could be one way. Samara's expression softened. I've worked with each of them over the past months, General. They understand the risks, and they're prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice if necessary. But more importantly, they believe in what we're doing. They have hope. The General was silent for a long moment, then nodded. Very well. I'll make the necessary arrangements. But I want you on that ship too, Dr. Petal. Your expertise will be invaluable in the field. Samara blinked in surprise. Me? But I'm not. You're the foremost expert on the quantum fold, Adebayo interrupted, and you have a unique perspective that bridges human and alien thinking. We can't afford to have you light years away if something goes wrong. Realizing the truth in the General's words, Samira straightened her spine and nodded. Understood, General. When do we leave? You have 48 hours to make final preparations. The ship, we're calling it the HSS Prometheus, is ready for your modifications. As General Adebayo turned to leave, Samira called out, General, thank you for trusting us with this. The older woman paused, a hint of a smile on her lips. Don't thank me yet, Doctor. Save that for when you've saved the universe. The next 2 days were a blur of activity. The Prometheus, a sleek vessel that looked nothing like traditional human or council ships, was outfitted with the experimental quantum fold technology. Samara worked tirelessly alongside her team, fine-tuning systems and running countless simulations. As the launch countdown began, Samara found a quiet moment to stand before the Prometheus. Its hull leaned under the harsh lights of the launch bay, the product of human ingenuity and desperation. Quite a sight, isn't it? A voice said beside her. Samara turned to see Captain Rodriguez, dressed in her flight suit and ready for action. It's more than I ever dreamed possible, Samara admitted. When I was a girl looking up at the stars, I never imagined we'd be trying to save them. Elena placed a hand on Samara's shoulder, having second thoughts. Samara shook her head. No. Scared out of my mind, yes. But not doubtful. What we're attempting, it could change everything. Not just for Earth, but for all sentient life. Then let's make it count, Elena said with a grin. I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to let some cosmic anomaly write the end of our story. As they boarded the Prometheus, joined by the rest of their elite crew, Samara felt a surge of pride and determination. Humanity had always faced the unknown with courage and creativity. Now, they would take those qualities to the stars, armed with a technology that defied the laws of nature itself. The ship's engines hummed to life, a sound unlike anything Earth had produced before. As the Prometheus rose from its cradle, preparing to breach the bounds of Earth's atmosphere, Samara thought of all those who had come before, the dreamers, the explorers, the scientists who had pushed the boundaries of what was possible. Ready to make history, Dr. Petal? Captain Rodriguez asked from the command chair. Samara took her place at the science station, her hands hovering over controls that could reshape reality itself. Ready, Captain. Let's show the universe what humanity can do. With a flash of energy that defied description, the Prometheus vanished from Earth's sky, carrying with it the hopes of not just one world, but countless civilizations across the cosmos. The mission to save reality itself had begun, with humanity leading the charge into the unknown. The Battle of Andromeda's Edge. The HSS Prometheus emerged from its quantum jump on the outskirts of the Andromeda galaxy, the ship's advanced sensors immediately coming alive with a cacophony of alerts. Captain Elena Rodriguez leaned forward in her command chair, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. "Status report," she ordered, her voice calm despite the chaos unfolding before them. Lieutenant Feng Zheng's fingers danced across his console. "Multiple Galactic Council ships engaged with the Void Cascade, Captain. It's not going well for them." The view screen showed a terrifying scene. The inky blackness of the Void Cascade writhed and pulsed, tendrils of nothingness reaching out to engulf stars and planets. Arrayed against it were the sleek, crystalline ships of the Galactic Council, their weapons flaring with energy that seemed to dissipate harmlessly against the cosmic anomaly. Dr. Samara Patel felt her heart racing as she analyzed the incoming data. "The cascade is growing stronger," she reported. "It's feeding off the energy from the Council's weapons, using it to accelerate its expansion." Captain Rodriguez's jaw tightened. "Aria, open a channel to the Council flagship." Arian Kosi, her cybernetic implants glowing softly, complied. The face of Admiral Zorax, the energy being who had first contacted humanity, appeared on screen. "Captain Rodriguez," Zorax's melodious voice rang out, tinged with what sounded like desperation. "Your arrival is most timely. We are losing ground rapidly." Elena nodded grimly. "We see that, Admiral. We're here to help, but we'll need to do things our way. Please order your ships to fall back and give us room to maneuver." Confusion rippled through Zorax's energy form. "Fall back. But the battle protocols dictate." "With all due respect, Admiral," Elena interrupted, "your protocols aren't working. Trust us." There was a moment of tense silence before Zorax reluctantly agreed. "Very well, Captain. May your species' reputation for ingenuity prove true. We will withdraw to a safe distance." As the Council ships began to retreat, Elena turned to her crew. "This is it, people. Everything we've worked for comes down to this moment. Dr. O'Brien, is the quantum fold ready?" Dr. Connor O'Brien, his red hair wild from running his hands through it nervously, gave a thumbs up. "Aye, Captain. The fold is primed and at full power. On your word." Elena took a deep breath, looking at each of her crew members in turn. She saw fear in their eyes, yes, but also determination and hope. "Engage the quantum fold," she ordered. The Prometheus hummed with power as the revolutionary technology came online. A shimmering field of energy enveloped the ship, distorting the space around it in ways that defied conventional physics. "Take us in, Mr. Zhang," Elena commanded. "Straight into the heart of that thing." Feng's hands were steady on the controls as he guided the Prometheus towards the roiling mass of the Void Cascade. As they approached, the ship's sensors began to falter, overwhelmed by the chaos of unraveling reality. Area, link with the ship's AA, Samura called out. We need to process this data faster than any human can. Arya nodded, her eyes closing as her cybernetic implants pulsed with activity. Connected, she reported, her voice taking on an oddly harmonious quality. Adjusting quantum fold parameters in real time. The Prometheus plunged into the void cascade, and for a moment, it seemed as if the universe itself held its breath. Then, something extraordinary happened. Where the cascade touched the ship's quantum fold, it recoiled. Order asserted itself in the chaos, reality knitting back together in the Prometheus's wake. It's working, Samara exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. The fold is creating a bubble of stable spacetime within the cascade. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Excellent. Now let's see if we can expand that bubble. Mr. O'Brien, increase power to the fold generators. As Connor complied, the ship shuddered under the strain. Warning lights flashed across several consoles, but the effect was undeniable. The area of restored space around the Prometheus grew, pushing back the tendrils of the void cascade. Captain, Dax Morrow spoke up from their station. I'm detecting something at the core of the cascade. It's faint, but there's a pattern to the chaos. Elena frowned. Can you get a visual? The main screen shifted, zooming in on the heart of the cosmic anomaly. There, amidst the swirling darkness, was a pulsing node of energy unlike anything they had seen before. It's alive, Samara breathed, her scientific mind racing with possibilities. The cascade isn't just a natural phenomenon, it's a living entity. This revelation sent shockwaves through the crew. They had prepared to fight a force of nature, not a sentient being. Options, Elena demanded, her mind already formulating new strategies. Samara's fingers flew over her console. If it's alive, it can be communicated with. We might be able to use the quantum fold to establish a connection, to understand its nature and intentions. It's worth a try, Elena agreed. But be ready to pull back at the first sign of danger. Dax, you're our expert in alien life. Work with Samira and see if you can make contact. As Dax and Samira huddled over their stations, the battle outside took on a new dimension. The Prometheus continued to carve a path of stability through the cascade, but now they moved with purpose towards its core. Suddenly, the ship rocked violently. The cascade is adapting, Feng shouted. It's learning to counter the fold. Elena gripped her armrests. Evasive maneuvers, Connor, Arya, work together to modulate the fold. Don't let it get a lock on our frequency. The next few minutes were tense, the Prometheus dancing through the chaos as its crew fought to maintain their advantage. The ship's hull groaned under stresses it was never designed to endure, but it held. We're approaching the core, Dax reported, attempting communication now. A pulse of energy, carefully modulated by the quantum fold, emanated from the Prometheus. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then, the entire void cascade seemed to shudder. We're receiving a response, Samara called out, her voice filled with awe. It's incredible. The complexity, the sheer alienness of it. Can you translate? Elena asked urgently. Samara shook her head. Not fully, not yet, but I'm getting impressions, emotions. It's lonely, confused. I don't think it understands the destruction it's causing. Elena's mind raced. This changed everything. The Galactic Council had been fighting a war against a being that might not even realize it was in conflict. Keep communicating, she ordered. Try to convey our intentions, our desire for peace. As Samura and Dax worked feverishly to bridge the gap between human understanding and this cosmic intelligence, the void cascade's assault on the Prometheus began to lessen. The tendrils of chaos withdrew, coalescing around the core in what almost seemed like curiosity. Captain, Zorax's voice came through the comm system. What is happening? The cascade, it's retreating. Elena allowed herself a moment of relief. We've made contact, Admiral. The void cascade isn't a mindless force of destruction. It's a living entity, and I think we might be able to reason with it. There was a long pause before Zorax responded, their voice filled with a mixture of awe and disbelief. In all our centuries of conflict, we never considered, Captain Rodriguez, you and your crew have accomplished the impossible. As the Prometheus hovered at the heart of the void cascade, surrounded by swirling energy that now seemed more curious than hostile, Elena felt the weight of the moment. Humanity, in its first major engagement beyond Earth, had not only held its own, but had fundamentally changed the nature of the conflict. "This is just the beginning, Admiral," Elena replied, watching as Samura and Dax continued their delicate dance of communication with the cosmic entity. "We have a lot to learn, and even more to teach, but I think we've taken the first step towards true understanding." The Battle of Andromeda's Edge would go down in galactic history not as a military victory, but as a triumph of innovation, compassion, and the uniquely human ability to find common ground in the most unlikely of places. As the Prometheus began the delicate process of establishing a lasting dialogue with the entity at the heart of the void cascade, the crew knew that the real challenges and opportunities were just beginning. Political fallout and ethical dilemmas. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with tension. Representatives from 1,000 worlds filled the tiered seats, their diverse forms a testament to the variety of life in the universe. At the center of it all stood Captain Elena Rodriguez and Dr. Samira Patel, the heroes of the Battle of Andromeda's Edge. High Counselor Thexalia, a being of crystalline structure that shimmered with inner light, addressed the assembly. "We have gathered here today to discuss the unprecedented events that have transpired. The humans, our newest allies, have achieved what we thought impossible. They have not only halted the void cascade, but have opened a channel of communication with the entity behind it." A murmur ran through the crowd, a mix of awe and unease. Elena stepped forward, her voice steady as she spoke. "High Counselor, esteemed representatives, we come before you not to boast of our accomplishments, but to share what we've learned. The being we know as the Void Cascade is not our enemy, but a lost and lonely entity, unaware of the destruction it caused in its search for connection." Samura joined her, activating a holographic display. "Our ongoing communication with the entity has revealed that it exists on a plane of reality different from our own. Its attempts to interact with our universe caused the chaos we interpreted as an attack." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices. Some expressed skepticism, others fear, and a few voiced outrage at the idea of negotiating with a force that had destroyed countless worlds. Ambassador Zorax, now a staunch ally of humanity, raised their voice above the din. "Colleagues, please, we must consider the implications of this discovery. If what the humans say is true, we have been at war with a being that never intended us harm. Our actions may have exacerbated the very crisis we sought to prevent." High Counselor Thexalia's crystalline form pulsed with what might have been concern. "Captain Rodriguez, Dr. Patel, your methods, while effective, have raised serious ethical concerns among many council members. The use of your quantum fold technology threatens to destabilize the very laws of physics we rely upon. And direct communication with such a powerful alien intelligence, the risks are incalculable." Elena stood her ground. "With all due respect, High Counselor, the greatest risk would be to ignore this opportunity for understanding. Yes, our methods are unconventional by your standards, but they have opened doors previously thought locked." As the debate raged on, Samura noticed a shift in the room's atmosphere. Some representatives leaned forward, intrigued by the possibilities humans presented. Others recoiled, clearly threatened by the rapid changes. "The humans have violated numerous council protocols," shouted Kravenor, a reptilian being known for his conservative views. "Their reckless actions could have doomed us all. I move that we restrict their access to galactic technology and confine them to their home system until we can be certain of their intentions." Elena's eyes flashed with indignation, but before she could respond, an unexpected ally spoke up. "Lar, A representative from one of the oldest races in the galaxy rose from her seat. Her ancient, withered form belied the strength in her voice. "Have we grown so set in our ways," Lo began, her words silencing the chamber, "that we would reject new ideas simply because they challenge our preconceptions? I have watched civilizations rise and fall, and I tell you this: stagnation is a far greater threat than change. The humans have shown us a new path. We would be fools not to explore it." As Lure's words sank in, the mood in the chamber began to shift. However, the debate was far from over. For hours, arguments flew back and forth. The ethical implications of manipulating reality itself, the potential dangers of communicating with a cosmic entity, and the role humanity should play in galactic affairs were all hotly contested. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the situation was equally tense. News of the Prometheus' success had leaked, sparking both celebration and controversy. Governments argued over control and application of the quantum fold technology, while religious leaders grappled with the theological implications of communicating with a godlike cosmic entity. Dr. Ariane Kosi found herself at the center of a different storm. Her deep integration with the Prometheus' AI during the mission had pushed the boundaries of human-machine interaction. Some hailed it as the next step in human evolution, while others feared the loss of human autonomy to artificial intelligence. Continue. Certainly. I'll continue with part 4 of the story: Political Fallout and Ethical Dilemmas. Part 4: Political Fallout and Ethical Dilemmas. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with tension. Representatives from 1,000 worlds filled the tiered seats, their diverse forms a testament to the variety of life in the universe. At the center of it all stood Captain Elena Rodriguez and Dr. Samira Patel, the heroes of the Battle of Andromeda's Edge. High Counselor Vexalia, a being of crystalline structure that shimmered with inner light, addressed the assembly. "We have gathered here today to discuss the unprecedented events that have transpired. The humans, our newest allies, have achieved what we thought impossible. They have not only halted the void cascade, but have opened a channel of communication with the entity behind it." A murmur ran through the crowd, a mix of awe and unease. Elena stepped forward, her voice steady as she spoke. "High Counselor, esteemed representatives, we come before you not to boast of our accomplishments, but to share what we've learned. The being we know as the Void Cascade is not our enemy, but a lost and lonely entity, unaware of the destruction it caused in its search for connection." Samara joined her, activating a holographic display. "Our ongoing communication with the entity has revealed that it exists on a plane of reality different from our own. Its attempts to interact with our universe caused the chaos we interpreted as an attack." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices. Some expressed skepticism, others fear, and a few voiced outrage at the idea of negotiating with a force that had destroyed countless worlds. Ambassador Zorax, now a staunch ally of humanity, raised their voice above the din. "Colleagues, please, we must consider the implications of this discovery. If what the humans say is true, we have been at war with a being that never intended us harm. Our actions may have exacerbated the very crisis we sought to prevent." High Counselor Vexalia's crystalline form pulsed with what might have been concern. "Captain Rodriguez, Dr. Patel, your methods, while effective, have raised serious ethical concerns among many council members. The use of your quantum fold technology threatens to destabilize the very laws of physics we rely upon. And direct communication with such a powerful alien intelligence, the risks are incalculable." Elena stood her ground. "With all due respect, High Counselor, the greatest risk would be to ignore this opportunity for understanding. Yes, our methods are unconventional by your standards, but they have opened doors previously thought locked." As the debate raged on, Samara noticed a shift in the room's atmosphere. Some representatives leaned forward, intrigued by the possibilities humans presented. Others recoiled, clearly threatened by the rapid changes. "The humans have violated numerous council protocols," shouted Pravenor, a reptilian being known for his conservative views. Their reckless actions could have doomed us all. I move that we restrict their access to galactic technology and confine them to their home system until we can be certain of their intentions." Elena's eyes flashed with indignation, but before she could respond, an unexpected ally spoke up. Lur, a representative from one of the oldest races in the galaxy, rose from her seat. Her ancient, withered form belied the strength in her voice. "Have we grown so set in our ways," Lur began, her words silencing the chamber, "that we would reject new ideas simply because they challenge our preconceptions? I have watched civilizations rise and fall, and I tell you this: stagnation is a far greater threat than change. The humans have shown us a new path. We would be fools not to explore it." As Lur's words sank in, the mood in the chamber began to shift. However, the debate was far from over. For hours, arguments flew back and forth. The ethical implications of manipulating reality itself, the potential dangers of communicating with a cosmic entity, and the role humanity should play in galactic affairs were all hotly contested. As the crew of the Prometheus prepared for their next, possibly greatest challenge, the galaxy held its breath. The age of isolation was over. For better or worse, humanity had become a pivotal player on the cosmic stage. The final stand and humanity's place in the stars. The HS Prometheus hung in space at the edge of the Milky Way, its sleek hull gleaming in the light of distant stars. Inside, Captain Elena Rodriguez stood before her assembled crew, their faces a mix of determination and apprehension. "I won't sugarcoat it," Elena began, her voice steady. "What we're about to attempt has never been done before. We're going to try to bridge 3 gaps at once, between humanity and the Galactic Council, between our universe and the realm of the cosmic entity, and between the conflicting factions back on Earth." Dr. Samira Patel stepped forward, activating a holographic display. "Our plan is to use the quantum fold technology to create a stable interface between our reality and that of the cosmic entity. Essentially, we're going to build a bridge between universes." Meanwhile, Arian Cozy continued, her cybernetic implants glowing softly. "I'll be working with the ship's AI to create a network that can safely share the experience with both the Council races and Earth. It's not just about showing them what we see, but allowing them to feel and understand it." Connor O'Brien ran a hand through his wild red hair. "The power requirements are going to be astronomical. We'll be pushing the quantum fold generators well beyond their designed limits." "Which is why we'll need you at your best, Connor," Elena nodded. "Feng, your piloting skills will be crucial. We'll be navigating spaces that don't follow our laws of physics." Lieutenant Feng Zhang gave a tense nod. "I've been running simulations, Captain. It won't be easy, but I think I can handle it." "And Dax," Elena turned to the xenobiologist, "you'll be our lifeline to the cosmic entity. Your ability to interpret and communicate will be more important than ever." Dax Moreau's serene features showed a flicker of nervousness. "I'll do my best, Captain. This being's consciousness is vast and alien, but I believe it truly wants to understand us as much as we want to understand it." Elena looked at each member of her crew, feeling a surge of pride. "I know I'm asking the impossible of you. Again, but what we do here today could change the course of history for every sentient being in the galaxy. Are you ready?" The crew's response was unanimous. They were ready. As the Prometheus maneuvered into position, alerts chimed across the bridge. "Captain," Feng called out, "we're detecting multiple ships approaching. Galactic Council vessels, and Earth ships too." Elena's jaw tightened. "Looks like word of our plan got out. Area, open a channel to all approaching vessels." The view screen flickered to life, showing a split image of Admiral Zorax and General Adebayo. "Captain Rodriguez," Zorax's energy form pulsed with concern. "The Council demands you abort this reckless mission. The risks are too great." General Adebayo's expression was equally stern. "Elena, you're walking a fine line here. Half of Earth wants to give you a medal, the other half wants you court-martialed. Stand down and let's talk this through." Elena took a deep breath. "Admiral, General, I understand your concerns, but we're beyond the point of caution. What we've discovered, what we're about to attempt, it's bigger than any one species or governing body. I'm asking you to trust us." There was a tense moment of silence. Then, surprisingly, it was General Adebayo who spoke first. "You've pulled off the impossible before, Captain. Do it again. Earth ships will stand by to assist if needed." Admiral Zorax's form shimmered with what might have been resignation. "The Council ships will also stand ready. But be warned, Captain, if this goes wrong." "It won't," Elena said with more confidence than she felt. "Thank you both. Prometheus out." As the communication ended, Elena turned to her crew. "This is it. Stations everyone. Let's make history." The next few hours were a blur of intense concentration and split-second decisions. Connor worked feverishly to keep the quantum fold generators from overloading as they pushed them to their limits. Feng's hands danced across the controls, guiding the ship through regions of space that defied conventional navigation. Samira and Dax worked in perfect sync, interpreting the cosmic entity's responses and adjusting the quantum fold accordingly. All the while, Aria's consciousness was spread across the ship's systems, coordinating their efforts and maintaining the delicate connection with the observing ships. As they delved deeper into the interface between realities, the very fabric of space around the Prometheus began to shift and warp. Colors that had no name in human language blossomed in the void, and geometries that shouldn't exist bent the mind. "We're approaching the critical juncture," Samara called out, her voice strained. "The entity is responding to our efforts. It's trying to meet us halfway." Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. Warning klaxons blared as systems began to overload. "The quantum fold is destabilizing," Connor shouted over the din. "We can't maintain this level of output." Elena gripped her command chair, her mind racing. "Aria, can you reroute power from non-essential systems?" "Already on it, Captain." Aria's voice came from everywhere and nowhere at once. "But it's not enough. We need something more." In that moment of crisis, Dax's eyes widened with realization. "It's not about power," they said softly. "It's about harmony. Captain, I need to broadcast to all ships, Council and Earth alike." Elena nodded, trusting her crew implicitly. "Do it." Dax's voice rang out across the communications channels. "To all those watching and waiting, we need your help. This isn't just our mission. It belongs to all sentient life. Focus your thoughts, your hopes, your very beings on bridging the gap. Together we can do what no single species could achieve alone." For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, slowly at first, but with gathering strength, a wave of collective consciousness washed over the Prometheus. The ship's sensors registered a surge of energy unlike anything they had encountered before. "It's working," Samara exclaimed. "The quantum fold is stabilizing. The interface is forming." On the viewscreen, a sight beyond imagination unfolded. A vast, shimmering portal opened before them, a window between universes. And through it, they could sense the cosmic entity reaching out, not with tentacles of void, but with tendrils of pure thought and emotion. As the connection solidified, understanding flowed both ways. The cosmic entity experienced linear time and individual consciousness for the first time, while the assembled beings of the Milky Way glimpsed the infinite perspectives of a multidimensional being. Hours passed in what felt like both an eternity and an instant. When the interface finally began to fade, there wasn't a dry eye or unaffected consciousness among those who had witnessed it. In the aftermath, as the Prometheus drifted amidst a fleet of awestruck ships, Elena looked at her exhausted but exhilarated crew. "We did it," she said simply, her voice filled with wonder. The following days were a whirlwind of debriefings, celebrations, and intense negotiations. The Galactic Council, faced with irrefutable evidence of the benefits of humanity's unorthodox approach, voted to create a new division dedicated to cross-reality communication and research. On Earth, the shared experience of cosmic connection had a profound effect. Old rivalries seemed petty in the face of such vastness, and a new era of cooperation dawned as humanity realized its place in a much larger community. As for the cosmic entity, it had found what it had been searching for all along: connection. With the bridge established, it could now interact with our universe without causing inadvertent destruction. A new age of exploration and understanding had begun. Months later, as the Prometheus prepared for its next mission, Elena stood in her ready room, gazing out at the stars. A chime at her door broke her reverie. "Enter," she called. Samuro walked in, a datapad in hand and excitement in her eyes. "Captain, you're not going to believe this. We've just received a transmission from the cosmic entity. It's inviting us to explore its realm." Elena felt a smile spread across her face. "Well then, Dr. Pertol, we'd better not keep it waiting. Assemble the crew. It's time for humanity to take its next giant leap." As the Prometheus set off on its new adventure, it carried with it the hopes and dreams of not just humanity, but of countless species across the galaxy. The age of isolation was truly over. In reaching for the stars, humanity had found not just new frontiers, but a vast, complex tapestry of life and consciousness that spanned realities. The universe, they had discovered, was far stranger, more wonderful, and more interconnected than anyone had ever imagined. And humanity, with its unique blend of ingenuity, adaptability, and compassion, had found its place as a bridge between worlds, a role it would continue to embrace as it ventured ever deeper into the cosmic unknown.